this time at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be able to do it.
At this time. Okay, at 8 o'clock tomorrow, yeah. If we'll try one more time, Bruce, to go live. Is that okay? Count me in whenever you're ready. Yep. Not just yet. Hello, everyone. We are live, I think, after a small technical hiccup. Welcome to the next episode of the Gamerhub Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Joe, and I'm back again. I've got another friend with me this time to talk you through all the news that we've been having this past week. It's been pretty big. All the stuff, we're gonna try our best to make sure we give you all of it. But first, I'm going to introduce people. We're going to tell you what we've been playing. In fact, you know what? No, we're going to mix it up this time. I'm going to tell you what I've been playing, and then everyone else is going to tell you. I've actually not been playing anything at all. I'm a complete fraud. I've been away. I've only just got back, so that's easy then. Easy then, really. So I'm going to pass you off to our guest for this evening, but he's not really a guest. He's pretty much part of the Gamerhub family. It's Platinum Dave. How do you like the new nickname? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you getting on?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm just about recovered from being away for like a small holiday for like a bachelor party. So naturally, it took me a long time to recover. What have you been up to there, man? What have you been playing?
As I'm not sure if everyone's aware, but like Destiny as big expansion has just recently dropped. Destiny Lightfall. Today it was a big day for the Destiny fan base as the raid has dropped. Twitch do this big thing where it's like Twitch rivals, and there's always all these other teams, and it's the first to finish the raid. There has been a team that has actually finished the raid right now, but we're waiting on Destiny to confirm that, and they'll win a prize as well as the belts, the raid belts. So hopefully we'll see something like that, and I'm looking forward to getting into it myself. But yeah, I've just been playing Destiny, trying to grind it out, trying to get my light level up, having fun with that game. It's getting mixed reception, but I'm looking forward to doing the raid.
So Platinum Dave's been holding out to an award-winning Destiny player here. You've been holding out, that's funny. Okay, no, that's great, man. What do you think of the new Destiny? Is it all good?
It's mixed. Like the gameplay is super fun. The story, however, it leaves you with it feels like Marvel's Infinity War to Endgame, where they leave you with so many questions. But when next year, when the final expansion drops, the final shape, I feel like that'll be its like big moment where everything is revealed. So us Destiny fans just have to wait now till September to get the new look at whatever is coming next year. But we have 4 seasons until then to get us through. So hopefully the seasons will keep us satisfied for the next year.
Sure. I hope so. Cheers for that, buddy. Okay, well, we'll move on quickly because we are pressed for time here. We've got a lot to get through in a short space of time. Breeze, how you doing? What have you been playing?
Well, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And I've been playing an array of games, but mostly one game that came out on Game Pass was Wolong. Now, let me just tell you, whoa! It's long. That's why they call it that, because it takes forever just to get through the goddamn first boss. So, whoa, and it's long as hell, and it took me long as hell to pass it, but I I love a game that gives me a challenge. Now, let me just say this. It is like Elden Ring. If you love Elden Ring, you would love Wolong. I bought Elden Ring and I was juiced for it, and then I played it, and I wasn't really impressed with it as much as I thought I would be, as the hype was. And I had like a few gripes, but I will say that is a game that I did put down because something else grabbed my interest, and the discipline schematics in it was just too much for me at that time. Here we go, fast forward to Wolong, which is similar in taste, but where I find it, where it differs, of course, is the era and time period. And if anyone is interested in or have played Dynasty Warriors, you are dealing with the same heroes and gods as you are in.
Oh, so it is Lubu from
it
Dynasty
is.
Warriors.
It is. It really
yeah,
is.
okay,
Yes.
yeah, I might have to play it then.
The whole
Lubu
take on it is dope with the Black Towers and the demons, and how the Yellow Kingdom the Three Kingdoms are in peril, and the Yellow Aura Kingdom has fallen, and you're trying to reclaim everything as this nameless warrior. And it gives great character customization while it's in depth. And if you go on Queen Breeze on Facebook, you'll see that I've created my character, and it's so dope because I have like the Buddha Bantu knots in my head, and it's like color, and I'm just like, this is dope. Like, I'm really just out here as a nameless warrior, customizing, just running through the hills of China, bringing balance and restoring.
Bringing balance. It's like a Jedi of the past.
The one thing that I really loved about it was the ease of adding. It's co-op, of course, and up to 2 more players, so it could be 3 of you running the game. And it's easier to join as it was than Elden Ring was. So I'm really enjoying it. I really like it. Right now, I am in the Valley of the Witches, and I'm just running through that, trying to progress in the game. Enough said. Great game going on. So if you're interested, it's on Game Pass. Day 1, Wolong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, I might have to play that because I've got to do some gaming this weekend. I'm like a heroin addict. I'm like, I'm having like withdrawal symptoms and everything.
I feel it.
Yeah, again, like, but speaking of someone who knows no withdrawals because he's always high. No, I'm kidding. He's always at high in outer space. It's Gladrius the Mighty. How are you doing, sir? Tell me, what have you been playing? Something pretty special.
Well, let me just say right now, you're the one who's kind of addicted here because you keep saying you got to have it. So don't talk to me about being inebriated or intoxicated. All right, then. So anyway, I've been playing a few things. I've been playing Kirby's Return to Dreamland on Switch, which is really good. And also the Mario Kart 8 DLC, the 4th pack, has just dropped. So that has been a lot of fun online. And my big thing this week is something I actually reviewed for the good team at Gamerhub there while I was here in space. And that is the Dead Cells expansion Return to Castlevania, which is a major crossover between Motion Twin and Konami. It is only about a couple hours long, but it has 2 new bosses to face. It's got a lot of music from the game. It's got a lot of enemies that you have to face off against. You can unlock weapons. You can unlock characters. And it's only like $10, which is pretty impressive for what you're getting for the money, you know. And it pays tribute to the Castlevania lore while at the same time still keeping the Dead Cells stuff intact. What am I saying? Den sales. Oh, what's wrong with me?
Denzel.
I see what Denzel Washington, obviously. Anyway, but the bottom line is this is probably one of the best expansions out there. I gave it a perfect score because it is perfect. It's only $10. It's very nostalgic. It's a lot of fun to play. There's a lot of stuff you can unlock, and it's just really well done, you know, and I think it needs to be supported because that means we're going to see more indie AAA crossover stuff. Imagine a Dead Cells expansion that centers on Dead Space. I'd buy the crud out of that, like twice, you know. So there's always all this room for support and everything. I think it is well worth the money, and I think you guys should check it out as well. So that's what I've been playing, but there's just been a lot of good stuff lately, so I've been happy with that.
Nice. That's pretty cool, man. What platform were you playing it on?
I've been playing it on my Steam Deck, but I also just picked it up for Nintendo Switch because I'm a sucker for multi-platform.
You certainly are. You definitely are.
Yeah, well, I've been really enjoying the heck out of it. Motion Twin, they could do no wrong. This is like their 5th DLC for the game, and it's been just as good as the core game, so it's really something.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Well, we're going to sort of move on to the topics. We've got a lot to get through here because I'm sorry I had to throw it out and say I haven't played anything. But, one thing I do is I have to one thing I do is look around at different upcoming games and whatnot. Now, Breeze, you were here with me when we came across this. We just wanted to do like this. This is kind of a new section of the show we're trying out. It's kind of like an upcoming indie shout out thing, and here it is. It's a game called Forsaken Realms. Varen's Call. Now, it doesn't have a release date or anything yet, but it's coming on Steam. I can't tell you if it's coming for any other platforms just yet. But it looks really, really cool. It's what looks like an action RPG, sort of set in a high fantasy world. And the world is called Leda. And you play as a mercenary traveling toward the war-torn city of Varen, and you're completely unaware of the role you're about to play in this once great city's fate. The game looks like it kind of looks a bit Soulsy, but also kind of there's sort of I get kind of Zelda vibes from it. Breeze, what do you think about this?
It gave me more so Valheim vibes.
Valheim
world, where you can build
the color palette.
And while the storyline is still a little, I'll say, mysterious to me, it looks fun. You can characterize, go through a custom characterization, but it really looks cool because of the different weapons that you can use or look like you're allowed to use, and of course build your base, hook up with other friends online and play it and just explore. And I think it's going to be really fun. Going on their Steam page, they have like a full developer update, which I think is great. Early access on Steam, so you can be a part of it.
In fact, you know what, guys, we're going to link that for you in the description once this goes up after it's been live. So guys should go and check it out. This is just sort of a new thing we're trying out. So if you like it, hit the like button. Oh yeah, consider subscribing too. Always forget to do that. While we move into the main brunt of the topics, because as I said before, we do have a lot to get through. And Gladrius, this is regarding a game that was shown very recently at the PlayStation
State of Play.
State of Play, yeah.
You forgot what it was called.
It was their feature piece. Oh, I know, the State of
Play. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, You're clearly not in a state of mind. You're high. I'm not high. Anyway, no, but what happened was the big game that was featured was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. They announced a release date for it, May 26th, but ever since its announcement, the game has gotten a whole bunch of backlash because it's one of those games as a service titles, which means you need an online connection to play it, even if it's just you in single player. So it's gotten a whole lot of backlash. Well, lately there has been news about a delay. Now, this has not been confirmed by Warner Brothers just yet, but according to Bloomberg and Jason Schreier, who's always been a favorite over at Kotaku for some reason, he has reported that the game has been delayed yet again. It will not make its May 26th release date. Instead, it will come out later this year, but it's not because of the games as a service thing. He noted, for what it's worth, a delay like this is mainly for polish, not to overhaul the core gameplay that caused backlash. Suicide Squad started off as a games as a service and will remain one short of complete reboot, which would require a much longer delay. So, more than likely, Warner Brothers and Rocksteady Studios are just testing out the game to make sure everything's cool when it does come out. But, I mean, the thing is, this was already delayed, twice before? Wasn't it supposed to be out in like 2021 and then 2022 and then the first half of 2023, now the second half of 2023? I mean, it looks good, but
I'd rather it just get delayed until it's finished.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I even addressed this with some of my friends. Like, I would be more than happy making sure that a game is delayed rather than come out broken like good old Cyberpunk 2077. But, at this rate, I don't know. I mean, the games as a service thing, I think, is going to weigh against the game pretty heavily. I hope it doesn't, because it does look like fun, like I said. But there's just a lot there, and I hope that Warner Brothers just comes out and explains what's going on and offers the option to play offline. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see.
Sure. I mean, because it was the feature piece, wasn't it? To Davey, I mean, what did you think about when you heard about this? Because, we saw it as the feature piece of State of Play. And then suddenly now we're like, oh, it's got delayed. I mean, obviously it's not the first time it's ever happened to a game, but it did surprise me nonetheless. What about you?
I see a lot of people saying that it looks like a games of a service, but to me, it reminds me a lot of Outriders when Outriders came out. Like, it looked like it was co-op, but it wasn't a thing where it was going to be like, you always have to play the game to always update it and stuff like that. I feel like we have gone like anyone who makes it like a games as a service now. It's really hard for a developers to make those type of games stick. Like, if you've played the games as a service, you already have your game. Like, for me, for instance, I have Destiny, and I've had it for almost 10 years. And there's World of Warcraft, and then there's all these little other ones. There's so I don't even think they've said themselves that it's a games as a service, but I could be wrong. But if it's like Outriders, because Outriders wasn't terrible, as long as it has enough content to keep you fed for at least some time, and then come back, sell a good few copies of the game, and then to about a year later add some DLC, it might do well. But the gameplay at the moment, it just looks like it's shoot the purple thing, and
I got Guardians of the Galaxy vibes because of the
but we can still there's still you can tell that this game was meant to be something else. It probably would have, but the fact that it's Warner Brothers, they were like, let's stick it as a DC game. You can tell that it was supposed to be a Superman game at one point with the Metropolis setting, but it's Rocksteady. I will probably buy it when it comes out. I want to be proven wrong when it comes to a thing like this. But overall, I was recently listening to a podcast, and I feel like I'm excited for it. And then just as I was about to get excited for the game, it got delayed, and I was like, okay, we'll just wait and see now. We have a lot of games until then anyway, so.
And, there is another example that I think they might be learning from here is Marvel's Avengers. Because you guys remember everything that happened with Marvel's Avengers, and now it's pretty much done, because they weren't able to find the established audience and everything. So maybe what Warner Brothers is just trying to do is smooth it over so there isn't another Marvel's Avengers, with mistakes or with a demand for you have to pay $20 for this wonderful Harley Quinn skin or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, I guess. Unless you had anything to add, Breeze?
I don't have anything to add on it. I'll be honest, I wasn't really excited for it. No, I'm the culprit here, but I just, I'm not disappointed it's delayed. As you guys know, I'm cool with delays. If you're going to come out with a great game, I appreciate that. I appreciate the transparency, any communication from a company rather than just not saying anything at all and dropping an actual date and then just saying, hey, we're not going to, it's just too much. So, I mean, I guess that was the case here, but I didn't have an exciting, hype for it in the first place. So it's good that they delayed it to polish it. Yeah, I played Marvel Avengers and I was disappointed. So it was really short-lived for me. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Suicide Squad, Breeze's interest killed.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not really interested in it. But there's only one type of superhero out there, and they're Super Saiyans. And even then, I'm over those really as well.
How dare you?
Yeah, sacrilege. Oh yeah, and Spidey, he's cool. But yeah, that's about it really. I've never really been interested in this title. It does look fun to play, and so I probably will give it a go. Especially if you can play it cooperatively with your mates. I can imagine having a lot of fun, with the core mechanics of traversal of the map do look pretty cool. I was quite shocked that it got delayed, considering it had just been sort of shown as a feature piece on State of Play. And then they just sort of, and then this delay came out of nowhere. It's not a long delay, but still, it was a bit surprising. It's not really, but then there's no such thing as a bad delay either. I'd rather the game just release as a full product. But speaking of other games that are coming out, this one does look promising. And Gladrius, do you want to introduce it? Because this is one of your topics.
Well, first off, I'd buy it for $1. It's Robocop Rogue City. Yeah, well, it's been a while since we've seen Robocop in video games, except for Mortal Kombat 11, because he was in that as a combatant. But Robocop Rogue City is a first-person shooter coming from the team at Nacon and Tion Games. It looks to be very similar in tone to the classic 80s movie. Very violent first-person shooter with a lot of exploration elements. And they're even bringing back Peter Weller as both the voice and the likeness. Yeah, the trailer features him in action, which is really cool. I mean, it just looks like a bloody, don't give a crap, just, let's take down criminals the best way we know how.
You do seem like a bit of a bullet sponge in the trailer. I mean, the graphics are amazing as well, by the way.
Robocop can take a beating. Have you not seen the movies? Robocop can take a beating.
Yeah. Dude,
he's getting shot down by 20 cops.
I've not seen Robocop.
Oh, you need to see Robocop. Okay, just stop what you're doing and go watch Robocop. That's your homework assignment. All right. So the game is coming out in September 2023 for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. So it's next gen, and I believe PC as well. But yeah, this looks really promising. But it's by the guys, the same publisher that did that Terminator Resistance game, and it was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either. It wasn't like, Terminator 2 on Super Nintendo. Ugh. So, yeah, I'm interested in seeing how this fares. Hopefully it'll be better than the Xbox game that came out several years ago. But this continues Robocop streak. I like this. This is going to be a fun, bloody game.
Yeah. What about you, Dave? Platinum Dave? You interested in this game at all?
Like, I love Robocop. I will probably pick it up, probably not at launch, depending on how much it's going to cost, really. Like, if it's like a €40 game, I'll probably pick it up. Especially, I have way too many games to try and finish as it is. But it's great. I do enjoy that we're seeing a lot more IP games, movie IP games, or like, big franchises kind of make a return to the gaming space. And Robocop is like iconic, and as Glad said, like, the last time we did see him was in Mortal Kombat, so it's great to see a renewed way to see this character. Like, and as a 90s kid, I have watched Robocop, so, I think that's...
Man. I'm just going to go. Has anyone got, like, a gun?
All right, Breeze, what you think? How's the game look to you?
Oh, it looks really well done. It looks really well done. I'm gonna play it. I am. I just wanted, just so I could talk in my Robocop voice and terrorize.
Go on. You've got to tell us now. You've got to show us your Robocop voice.
She's gonna shoot everybody in the balls. We already know that. She's gonna shoot everybody in the balls.
And of course, you know what I always look for? I always look for when a game comes out that has, behind a great movie, like a great cult movie, I just want to see some comparisons from the movie and the game, besides the main actors, the characters, just certain scenes you might have to play. Like, if we could bring back Robocop 3 with the little kid.
No, if anything, they're going to bring in, like, maybe the Ed 209, maybe that one that was high on Nuke. Because they saw Nuke sprawled on one of the walls in the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if he came in. What's his name? The convict that was the robot.
Yeah,
I'd love to see elements like that. I think that they've got the gameplay down. They got the whole targeting thing. When it locks in on targets, you can actually shoot people more efficiently. So I have some hope for this one. I mean, it's not like an acclaimed Super Nintendo release like Judge Dredd or Stargate or their 200 movie games. It actually looks like it's loyal to its theme. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the game does look very easy though. I mean, like, how many bullets did they take in that? It doesn't even look like they took any damage. Like,
I think he got somebody with a fan blade too. That was really nice.
Yeah, it does look cool. It does look really cool. But for me, I'm hoping it's like if you get it in a Game Pass or PS Plus or something.
It's good. It looks really good. Yeah. Sorry we can't show you guys any live footage because have to be mature to to handle.
Yeah,
that.
we'll link you to it, and once you
yeah.
pass the age gate, you'll be fine. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, just make sure we got to keep pressuring Mopish to watch the movie. He can't just keep watching his Price is Right reruns. He has to watch something worth quality.
The movie in order. You
have to watch a movie.
Binge it.
Yep. Well, maybe.
Can't I just guess just how much an old DVD of it?
No, you're gonna watch it. What the hell?
You have to appreciate.
Yep.
How they maliciously lied and told him that he no longer had feelings for his wife. You have to embody how it hurt him because he was still human in the brain. Have to embody that. No.
And plus, you got the dude from that 70s show being the main crack dealer. You got to watch it. It's quality casting. Kurtwood Smith, everybody. He deserves an Oscar. He doesn't even call anybody a dumbass. He just shoots everything, which is great.
Well, speaking of dumbasses, there's a nice little segue here.
What about you?
Hey. No, actually.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. We're just talking about not really about an individual. My dumbass comment was.
It is.
It wasn't. But no. I was trying to be diplomatic. But yeah. So basically, we have got more. We won't touch on it for very long because it is an exhaustive topic. But the Activision Blizzard merger, it looks like the EU might be ready to approve it. But recently, it has come to light from Activision Blizzard's CEO, I think it is, Lulu Cheng, who is very, very active on Twitter, shall we say. And she has come out and said a couple of things. Microsoft offered Sony, the dominant console leader for well over a decade with 80% market share, a 10-year agreement on far better terms than Sony would ever get from us. We've also offered Sony guaranteed long-term access to Call of Duty, but they keep refusing. Why? She went on also to say, the CEO of SIE, Sony Interactive Entertainment, answered that question in Brussels in his words. I don't want a new Call of Duty deal. I just want to block your merger. Now, look, Sony can't be bashed on for trying to protect their business interests, but coming up with this comment is just basically shat on all of their arguments.
Sorry.
Really.
Sorry.
I'm just going to say it. He's a stock blocker. That's the best.
Dude,
you know what I'm trying to say, but he's basically being a stock blocker. I mean, he's been at this for months. He's been trying to do all this. He's been trying to talk the EU into all these different things, and with his reasoning and all that stuff, he's been ignoring his own company. Which right now you probably do want to pay attention to him because you need new games for 2023 besides Spider-Man 2. You need to do something to show that you still care about games and everything like that, and you're not so concerned about the competition. Stuff like this shows you're absolutely desperate about taking care of the competition, and it doesn't leave a good face on your company.
It doesn't look good for them. No, I have to admit. Well, it's just like like you say, they can't be blamed for trying to protect the business interest. That's literally their jobs.
Well,
but it's the hypocrisy of their comments.
Yeah, I can't.
It's like Sony are complaining about maybe not getting the exact same, or Microsoft potentially downgrading their version of Call of Duty, and it just makes you wonder. Because I've seen agreements and things like that for stuff, and people can put some shady stuff in there, like publishers and stuff, right? And so you just would not surprise me if they deliberately had or deliberately got publishers, developers to not release as good a game.
I doubt that would happen.
You know what, Gladius? I say this. I don't doubt it at all. I
do. And here's why. Here's why. Well,
not necessarily Sony Call of Duty, but I reckon it. Has happened.
There's no way. There's no way they would do it as a lesser version unless they didn't have a choice, trying to port it to Nintendo Switch. Then they'd be stuck on it. But if they did this, if they did a lesser version on the PlayStation 5 compared to Xbox, that would affect its audience.
Well,
they want to maintain the quality.
They already do that, and it's with perfectly legal within the market. Within the marketing deal. Like
but
it's got all these exclusive skins, all these exclusive demos and stuff like that.
yeah, I'm
But
just
Xbox
missions
got
and
Xbox.
campaigns.
it just seems
Yeah,
like an
exactly.
empty. Yeah, it's an empty.
But also, but with the comment with regards to bugs and things like that. Think about these games. Games when Digital Foundry go through, and it's just like, oh, there's a bit of texture that didn't load in there and stuff like that. There's a slightly better draw distance. That kind of stuff. It would not. I'm not saying it definitely is in this instance, but I'm almost sure of it that it happens in the industry, and publishers and developers. I'm not saying it's either just Sony that does it. It could well be Microsoft could do it as well. Certainly in the 360 days, it wouldn't have surprised me if they did it.
And that's a level that's a level of competition that I wasn't even thinking on. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily see what Microsoft would have to gain to do that as of already obtaining Activision. Like that's like the ace in the hole already. You know what I mean? So it's like, that would be a add insult to injury type of move, which I can't cancel out the motives of a business, because people, as you can see, as Jim Ryan, will act shady just because they're worried about competition versus their consumers. I just feel like that's a bit much, especially after, Microsoft saying over and over, hey, that's not what we want to do. Hey, we want to get money. And this is all my wording. Okay. Hey, we want to open it up. We want to gain money from all sides. Why would we close you off and not gain that money? So to me, I kind of felt like, this wasn't the first time Jim has said this. He said this when the deal first came on the table. He knew he wanted to block it, because everything he was doing he was blocking it. So after and like, for Lulu to come out and say this after time and time again, we've asked why, we've reconfigured contracts, we've put it in. They say no, we don't want it. We don't want to do that. We want to do that. So what's the question? Well, the question has been answered. This has been on the back of everybody's mind. If there was nothing you could find, you were trying to find, and you were just getting turned down at every avenue that you were trying to condemn. Well, what could it possibly be? And this is it. It's just an old plain hater move, if you ask me. That's just what it is. And I just think it sucks. Like, okay, it's business, it's corporate, it's competition. I mean, I just think it's enough money, enough games, enough developers out here for everybody. So start sharing. Shit. Cut it out. That's how I feel. Like, and you're caught. You're here. It's like Jim Ryan just got fed up. It's like, oh, fuck it. Yes. I just want to block you. That's just what I want to do.
It's a stock block. That's what it is. I'm copywriting that term.
Yeah, you should, Gladius. That was a really funny term.
Like, come on, like, you have all this energy, like all this negative energy you're using, and money on lawyers to try to stop this. All the money you could have been putting in your studios. Give us
like Resistance, a new Resistance, a new Killzone, anything like that. Why do you have to go after Call of Duty?
Sony are going to lose money from this. They've got more favorable terms on Activision. They if it goes into Game Pass, they want it to go into PS Plus, but they don't want it to go into PS Plus because they want to make the money off the $70 sales of every game.
And I understand
I get it.
That'll mess it up for them. I get that, but I mean,
but at the same time, their complaints
saying like, oh, Xbox players can get such thing when already as you mentioned, PlayStation players are already getting exclusive content. Like, I remember when the last Call of Duty dropped off, they got exclusive content to the maps a year before it was even allowed on Xbox. I mean, come on now, I get you want to stay ahead of the curve. Well, no,
PlayStation have got it sweet
first, yes, and then Xbox got it. But it's just the thing of, hey, you can't be hypocritical to that. Hey, I get it, that's their money maker. But if you have all these great studios, and losing Call of Duty or sharing Call of Duty really shouldn't be a problem, should it? Me personally.
What do you think?
At least they have Forspoken.
Sorry, Dave. Platinum Dave, what do you think, buddy?
Okay, so there's a long way to go about this, and there's a short way about this. I'm going to go as short as I can. 70% of the people that play Call of Duty play on PlayStation. If you buy anything that's digital, So anything that you buy on the PlayStation Store, 80% of that goes to Sony. So Sony will take 80% of your $20 skin. Okay. So if Microsoft buys this, it just gives them more money, and Sony doesn't want that because of you. I'm not going to do the maths for you, but if you know how many copies a year Call of Duty sells, and 70% of that already is on PlayStation, plus the $20 skins that they like send every month, that's just one thing. But one thing that people never seem to talk about as well is Sony has been very quiet for a very long time for a good reason. Their whole new system that they work on is, if they're like, we are about to get phase 2 of Sony's PlayStation 5 games. We still have to hear from what Naughty Dog's doing, Somniac, Blue Point, Bend, Sucker Punch. There's so many things, along with Stellar Blade. There's that other, is it another Inshin game, or what is, there's like another, like,
they got Wolverine on the card.
Yeah, there's Wolverine too. Like, there is multiple exclusives going to Sony that will be out in the next, like,
and they're keeping it quiet.
3 years, and they're keeping it very quiet, and we will find out in June. But the whole, like, and it's the same thing with Xbox. And it's one thing I'll always say is, if Xbox never bought Bethesda, how many games would Xbox have right now since they announced, or the developers when they bought them back in? Like when they bought the 5 publishers back in 2018, 2017, how many of them have released a game that's Xbox exclusive? Because Psychonauts is because Psychonauts is multi-platform, you know, like, it is very desperate for Xbox and the management side. If they own Blizzard and Activision, how many, like, they'll obviously just fill their catalog for their Game Pass monthly. And as we're seeing as it is right now, we're getting game after game after game, like, the last few months on Xbox. And, like, I can't tell you, like, we saw Hellblade when they announced the Xbox Series X. We still haven't gotten a release date for Hellblade, and I thought that game was going to be a launch title game. We got Halo before that.
I mean, but you guys, no, he's making good point. He's making really good points, and actually, you're doing a video on it on your channel, Dave.
I am,
so
but we also saw
we
also saw Starfield 3 years before we saw the console of the Series X.
Hey, you lay off God Howard.
No, I'm not. I'm not. But it, like, but
God
know,
Howard?
Yeah, God Howard. He's the God and Savior, especially when the Fallout 4 next gen upgrade launches in a few months. Well, like, we're going to see a bit more hype around Bethesda as a company, because we get to see their master. Like, the one thing that pardon my language, but pisses me off, is that the amount, like, the IP that Howard doesn't want to give away. Like, we have Obsidian that have said, Josh Sawyer has said on 3 different accounts that he wants to make another Fallout game, but they're like, that we have all of the IP of Fallout that we could literally just remake and put into a HD collection or something, but have not touched. Like, there's multiple different things that Bethesda are also holding on to that Xbox technically have a hold of because they own Bethesda and they're doing nothing with it. It just shows that, like, there's something in the Xbox team that needs to be fixed before they even bother getting this merger, like, put through. And I'm all for it. I'm like, cool, give me Crash Bandicoot 5 on Game Pass. I'll take it. Bring back all these games for me, please. But I think Xbox need to figure out their main developers right now, because we have barely seen a single thing, and it's been over 5 years, and we've gotten the same old Halo and Forza.
You remember when they announced that team? What was it? The Initiative, right?
Yeah, the game that's working on.
We haven't heard anything about what they're doing.
Yeah, Quadruple A, yeah.
Just like development problems. That's all I've heard. Like, I have not seen anything from that studio.
We'll find out more soon.
I think they learned about that. That this is why they decided not to build more studios from the ground up, because it's incredibly difficult. And you know what? And yeah, the thing is, people bash on the Xbox leadership, and yeah, there's maybe some criticisms go around, but they, like Sony, I also think they're holding on to more than
Hi-Fi Rush is a great example.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is a great example, but that's Bethesda, like you say. But I do think that they are holding on to more than we know, because they're trying to like PlayStation are trying to play themselves down, thinking, oh no, we can't survive without Call of Duty. So are Xbox. They're saying, oh well, we need this merger, otherwise we're done. And it's like, well, maybe, but I think there's more to we'll see more. Like this summer showcase, I actually think some people will be surprised. I'll be expecting Avowed within certainly within a year of June.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree with that. Along with Outer Worlds too.
Yeah, but and then there's Forza as well. That game's going to be absolutely insane. Anyway, but point is, they're both doing fantastically well. Sony do not need it's embarrassing that it's come to this, and I think there's going to be permanent damage.
There already is. I feel like publishing rights for each game now would probably go to Xbox like the old days. So if you want content, it's going to be on Xbox first. I think Sony has complained too much that it will not have these exclusive stuff that we see right now. That damage is done.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Any last things to add on this before we move on?
I do want to say one thing. I know we've been on it a while, but basically, a deal should be reached. But the minute you bring politics into this, there's trouble. For the longest time, Square Enix was saying blockchain was the future and everything like that. And now take a look. They're literally burying copies of Forspoken because they can't be sold. They're doing the Atari thing, which is awful. So the question is, how much do you want to let controversy and personal comments get in the way of actual business? Because that could be a gigantic problem.
Yeah.
It also sells too, because Hogwarts Legacy, all that happened was people talked about it and just sold over 15 million copies.
Well, that's just
and I'm glad you bring Hogwarts Legacy up, though. Sorry, Gladius. Go.
You're fine. I'm done. Let's move to the next topic.
Yeah. So because it's just a nice segue there. I'm glad you bring it up actually, because it's sold like a hotcase. It's already sold more than Elden Ring, and they've actually even hinted at DLC. This is coming to us from PlayStationLifestyle.net. I was under the understanding that there wasn't going to be any, and it was just they're going to be just the game as is, and that's how it's going to be released. But apparently that's not the case. According to PlayStation Lifestyle, Hogwarts Legacy 2 and possible DLC has been hinted at by Gunnar Weinfels, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, the CFO of Warner Bros. Discovery. He believes that the company is only just starting, in quotation marks, to expand on the Wizarding World, suggesting that the additional content for Hogwarts Legacy could be on the way, despite Avalanche Software saying in February 2023 that it currently has no plans for Hogwarts DLC. So there we go. I guess that's money for you. Money talks. Hey, what do you guys think about this? And who wants to go first? Raise your hands. So, go on, Davey boy, you've got something to say. I know you love this game as well. Did you platinum it?
Yes, I did.
Hey, platinum Dave.
Yeah, I platinumed it, but it's the thing with when you get corporate heads of these gaming devs to do stuff. We officially got an announcement. Well, not officially. They blatantly told us there's going to be a Mortal Kombat 12 before Ed Boon even got us to tell us. I don't even think, if I was Ed Boon, I'm I kind of really want to hope and wait till the summer's Game Fest or something, to show off this game. But they're out here just blatantly just announcing stuff. The dev teams themselves probably haven't even fully given themselves the green light of what they're going to do next for a DLC or a sequel. They just say, yeah, we definitely want this to go ahead. I feel like that, when just with the way companies are nowadays, that especially ones that are suffering, like Warner Brothers, they are suffering because they have all this IP and literally just have to delay Suicide Squad again. And bear in mind how much money it costs for everyone in that development team, as long as the IP itself, I just feel like, we got to do DLC now. This game sold super well. And bear in mind, DLC will probably come in the next 2 years for Hogwarts Legacy. Sadly, it probably won't be Quidditch as much as I would love for it to be. But
Dude, I know I would love for it to be.
I'll just take multiplayer battles.
Yeah.
Multiplayer battles alone would be awesome.
Dueling. Yeah, that would be so good. Yeah. You know what I love about the Hogwarts Legacy? I'm sorry, I just have to go in on this, guys. Is that you remember the OG Harry Potter games for the PlayStation 1?
Yeah.
Like there were so many throwbacks to those games, like, and what was so good about those games, and Avalanche absolutely nailed it. I'm just gonna say it, right? You know, that is a real mic drop game for them. And I hope that there is. I don't maybe hope that there's DLC if they didn't write the game to have it, because it might just feel bolted on and horrible. I'd just rather that them get a new Hogwarts Legacy game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of potential here for the future, because they also said they were talking about doing something in terms of they want to do a TV show. They might even want to expand this into movies, because Fantastic Beasts is pretty much dead in the water.
Oh,
Sadly.
God, that was so terrible.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because, I mean, 12 million copies sold over what? A week time? That's something you just can't ignore.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys, I would love to get, and I'd love the same for Star Wars. I'd love Harry Potter, not Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy, the Dark Lord or something like that. When it's like Tom Riddle going, and how he goes and kills. You know, you get to see flashes of what they saw in Harry and Dumbledore seeing the pensive in the Half-Blood Prince and stuff. That would be really sick. And obviously, you can apply the same to Star Wars with Palpatine and Plagueis before the start of Episode 1. Anyway, but yeah, okay. We're going to move on because we are fast running out of time. Onto one of our final topics.
You're going to be gushing about this for 3 hours. It's Starfield.
Well, in that case, why don't you guys go first? Breeze, you can decide who goes first, if it's you or not. I've got you off guard, haven't I?
Just
lay it down.
You put me on the spot.
I'll do it.
Go ahead,
Gladrius is the resident authority on outer space, so he can start.
Sure. So Starfield is coming out finally September 6th, and we're going to get a closer look at gameplay on June 11th. Mopish has not only marked his calendar, he's taken the whole week off in response. Because he wants this game. He wants this game more than he wants oxygen. That's how badly he wants this game. Like he said, I'll hold off breathing if I can play Starfield. I'm like, well, that's not how this works. But you know,
I did bet God Howard, but he told me that I'd lose, and so he was like, if you do that, you will never play the game. So I was like, okay, I'll stop.
Yep, please. No, but I mean, we're finally going to see this game in action. I know a lot of people have been waiting for it, which is, of course, including Mopish. So, yeah, I mean, it's finally coming, you know, and a lot of people have been complaining, well, you know, this game's been delayed thousands of times. And I'm like, yeah, sure, but they want to make sure it's good. I mean, wouldn't you want to not run into a situation where it's all Fallout 76-like and it takes 2 years to get the game properly running decently?
Exactly.
So, yeah, take your time with it. I'm good with that.
I'm good with that, too. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And it looks like, and I was right, you know, because I think like Mopish was like, oh, it's going to get a first half 2023 release. I'm like, no, it's going to be second half. And I was right. So Mopish owes me $16,000.
16,000.
About 3 podcasts ago.
That was the bet. That was the bet.
Wait, hang on a moment. Didn't you say it was coming in like November though?
We said
no. I said it was coming in the second half.
In the end of the quarter four. Quarter 4 at the end of it all. We asked if it was going to be an early release, a summer release, or
it wasn't going to be in the early.
And you said it was going to be a summer. You thought it would be a summer.
Okay, so you.
Yeah.
So you only owe me $6,000.
Late summer. September's late summer.
So you only owe me $2,000.
Early fall. We said it would be.
Yeah, I mean,
you
said. Where Platinum Dave is, it's pretty much that's winter by then, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I said that it would be. I said it'd be pretty close to the original.
You're gonna cop out with a territorial excuse to paying money. Be that way. No, but at least it's finally coming. So what? I mean, that means, you know, Xbox has already got a great year for 2023. You know, we were just talking about like where are the games, but now we've gotten a Hi-Fi Rush. We're going to get Redfall in May. Sure. We're going to get Starfield in September. We're probably going to get Forza in November. Minecraft in May.
It's something in April.
Minecraft Lit.
What do we get in April?
Yeah.
April 28th, we get something in April. Excuse me.
That's Dead Island,
that's-
I think.
Dead Island 2, boo, baby.
Didn't it get delayed,
Yeah,
Bruce?
but that's multi-console. But still, I mean, she's got a point. She's got a point.
Here.
I wasn't blaspheming you. I said you were
No,
right.
I said Joe. Joe said that Dead Island got delayed again. Dead Island 2.
It was delayed from February to April.
Yeah, to April. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like it got delayed again from April.
No.
Yeah, but
the only thing that got delayed was Hogwarts Legacy's PlayStation 4 and Xbox One ports. They were supposed to come out in April, but they got delayed to May.
You'll have to understand,
okay,
Breeze.
yeah.
Joe writes in lots of checks that his butt can't cash.
Hey, he made a $16,000 bet again.
It's just got to do with anything.
Yeah. Honestly,
My
I got
butt
witnesses
can't
too.
cash.
So
What
guess
the?
But no, I mean, that means Forza's got to come out in like November, or maybe they're doing something because they talked about remastering the Gears of War games too, and then there's also Hellblade. So there's still all sorts of. I mean, it's going to be a great showcase when they have it in June. So we're going to see what happens with that.
Yeah, but Dave, I want to know what Platinum Dave has to say about this, because Dave, firstly, do you consider it a delay that's now coming in September? Are you bothered by it? And I suppose it feeds into, have you lost faith in Xbox? Because you were kind of talking about this. So summarize.
I wouldn't say I've lost faith in Xbox. I just lost faith in whenever they open their mouth and saying things that are like, it's coming in the next 6 months. Everything you see here will be in the next 6 months, or like the next first half of next year. And it's like, oh really? Starfield's doing great then, you know. But I always I said a few months ago with you, even on the Gamerhub Podcast, that I think this game be closer to November than it would be to an actual earlier release date. I mean,
in the middle, isn't it? It's 3 months, and
but the thing is, with it, there's so many games we can't complain about a delay. Like, this game can only get better from a delay, and there's only been one case where Bethesda has actually delayed a game, and that's when Oblivion came out. Oblivion was the only game that got a delay out of all the other games that they've released, and this is the most this is the most they've actually talked about a game where, with Fallout 4, we found out about Fallout 4, and then we found out it was releasing 3 months later.
Yep.
Yeah, you know,
you are correct.
Yeah. And even with Skyrim was oh yeah, this game's 11/11/11. It's coming a few months from now. So with this having the big showcase in June, I don't want them to oversell a lot, but just stick the September release date and just make sure the game looks well.
Yeah.
That's all they need to do.
Yeah. I was also told as well that, because it feeds in that if it's going to be released in September, being that they're announcing it now, because I was always told by people I know that they want to give it the full 6 months of hardcore marketing.
Yeah, they will.
For the game, and but they will now, because it's released in September. So it's yeah, they were probably they must be just waiting for whenever. Sorry, having a stroke or something. Whenever Bethesda gave them the go ahead, so that they could say, okay, well, let's announce this. This would be when, and they've probably thought, okay, yeah, it makes sense to do the direct in June, because it ties in with all the other hype that we'll be getting around that time. And then it releases a couple of months later, and it's going to start off what should be oh my god, a fantastic second half of the year for them after a really good first half.
If they keep up with how they normally release games, I think that, stick to their formula like that, the 6 months marketing before, heavy marketing, and then boom, the game is really released. I think it'll be good, especially for diehard Bethesda fans.
I just can't wait for that God Howard deep dive. I don't know about you guys, Dave. I'm sure you're with me, Platinum.
Oh yeah, I can't I've been watching it. I've been watching Todd for a while, and obviously massive fan of Bethesda games for quite some time as well. So it's exciting to get a brand new IP that he hasn't bought. So,
yeah, indeed. And that, I think, unless anyone has anything to add on this, I feel like we've all given our 2 cents on it.
I will say this real quick. Companies need to be better to their employees. I know we already bagged on Sony and how they treated, with Jim Ryan putting his own motives ahead of his own company and everything like that. But we also have to look at other companies and how they're treating their employees as well. I'm talking about you, GameStop, pooping on your employees like they don't matter to anybody. I'm talking about Activision and Bobby Kotick just needs to go. I'm talking about Ubisoft and how they're treating certain people and making them leave because they don't, like being harassed. So yeah, be better to your employees. They deserve better. They don't deserve crunch. They deserve to be loved because without them, you're not making your games, are you? Nope, you're just making messes.
And on that note, Gladius, get out. Just kidding.
Okay, I'm leaving. Have a nice day. Hey, you still owe me money.
He's absolutely.
$60,000.
You can pay me back $100 a day.
I think that's it. We've had a very packed show. I feel like we've been pretty nice and quick and relatively direct for us, and to the point with this kind of stuff. I hope you've enjoyed rocking out on this episode with us. There's been a little bit less BS talking, a little bit more just like getting to the point, which I hope you can appreciate. If you do appreciate it, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing, leave us a comment if you like the new format for the sort of indie promo bit at the start. We're doing that off our own back, by the way. That's not a hashtag ad. So yeah, we're going to start now with outros, and I think we're going to start first with Platinum Dave or Mr. Davey Boy. I'm sorry. I hope you can accept the Platinum Dave nickname. It's kind of sticking.
Yeah, well, if we called him Diamond Dave, we'd probably get sued by David Lee Roth. So we'll stick with Platinum Dave.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So obviously subscribe to Gamerhub, and if you ever want to follow me on Twitter, and you'll just see the amount of shite I spew and give my opinions online. It's at DavyBoy117. So yeah, that's where you can follow me and chat away. But yeah, we had a great conversation about everything today. I could if I had more time, I would have given you a whole 5-page essay on the Blizzard thing, but we ain't going to do that because I'm sick to death of listening to it.
I think we all are, mate. I think we all are. And Gladius, you have you're about 5 minutes out of an asteroid field, so you're probably going to need to get back to outer space. So why don't you hit next with your outro?
Well, you can find my work over there at Gamerhub, and you can also find me over on Discord and right here, keeping the glue together for this podcast. Thank you very much.
And Breeze.
And you guys can find me on Gamerhub, Gamerholics, Game Time Podcast. You can also find me on Facebook, Queen Breeze. Check out my gaming videos and check me getting back into this Wolong.
All I'm going to say, guys, is thanks to all you guys for rocking out with us, or if whoever you might be. Thanks to Platinum Dave for joining us. I hope you can join us again soon, man.
Yeah, definitely.
And to my usual colleagues, Gladius, Lamighty, and that's your French name, by the way, and Breeze. I'm the Mopish Lawyer. Peace.
Peace.
Chicken grease.
Piece of chicken.